We turn now to a surprising way to treat the psychological scars of battle. More than 30% of soldiers and Marines returning from deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan report psychological concerns. Many of them suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, soldiers have always struggled with the memories of battle. Earlier generations might have used the term shell shock, soldier's heart to define similar symptoms. One of the defining symptoms of PTSD is the flashback, reliving the traumatic event. But what if doctors created a flashback to help soldiers heal? Would it work? ABC's Dan Harris reports.
Sergeant Brian Neal spent a harrowing and bloody year in Iraq. He survived dozens of IED attacks, including this one, captured on videotape by insurgents.
You got to be vigilant all the time because there's no warning, no nothing.
When Neal came home, he treated his post-traumatic stress disorder in what may seem like a supremely counterintuitive fashion by repeatedly reliving his worst memories in virtual reality.
The second you put it on, it's like you're back there again.
Does your heart race? Your palms get sweaty?
Yeah.
You're feeling anxious?
Yeah, you feel very anxious. You see helicopters flying over you. You hear gunshots. You hear the bomb go off. You're driving a Humvee. You hear radio, traffic in the background. It's exactly like being there.
During Neal's tour in Iraq with the Georgia National Guard, he was out on the road in a Humvee almost every day.
There's a constant state of stress and worry that, you know, if you don't do something right, or if you don't ensure that something is done right, or if you don't do everything that you can, someone will get seriously hurt or die.
On many occasions, Neal did see his buddies suffer and die. After a year of this, Neal came home to Atlanta, married his college sweetheart, and tried to resume some semblance of normal life.
It's amazing. You go through a year of what many people would describe as hell, and you come home and you're expected to fit right back in.
Right. And it's, like you said, it's very, very difficult to just jump right back into it. It's also hard to explain to people what you're feeling, especially when you don't understand it yourself.
He started having nightmares and flashbacks. When driving, he couldn't stop thinking about roadside bombs.
You know, I see a bag on the side of the road, and I swerve, and I've almost gotten in accidents where I swerved into either oncoming traffic or a lane near mine.
He was snapping at his wife, he says, and unable to concentrate at work.
And I knew that I needed to get help from someone.
Neal was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
When somebody first proposed to you, we're going to put a helmet on your head and make you relive some of the worst things that have ever happened to you. Did you think, I don't want to do this?
Yes. I thought there's no way that I want to do this.
But psychologist Mary Rose Girardi gained Neal's trust. She's one of the researchers on a federally funded study on virtual reality and post-traumatic stress disorder. In this small room here at Emory University, she works with Iraq war veterans to digitally recreate their most horrible memories.
I asked him to show me under his arm, but I could see it was just covered in blood all down the side of his flak vest.
Here, Neal tells of struggling to find a way to get one of his wounded soldiers to safety.
What were you thinking going through?
I'm thinking that we're already beat up really bad, and we're already all stressed out, and I knew that if this is a bad part of town, if we got hit again, it could be really catastrophic for us.
Virtual reality therapy is a full-on sensory assault. Dr. Girardi put me inside the virtual war zone.
You can really get a view all over the place.
Yes.
The ground rumbles beneath your feet. They even pipe in diesel exhaust.
How are you doing with all that? Some of it is pretty loud.
It's pretty intense.
Dr. Girardi can make it day or night, desert or urban, depending on the trauma she's trying to recreate. In preparing this story, Dr. Girardi requested a reporter who had covered wars.
Firing, firing!
I don't think this is a good thing, but I don't often get that scared. Because when you're out there as a reporter, you're thinking, I can't get hurt. I'm out here covering a story, I can't get hurt.
Mm-hmm. What might happen in terms of being a soldier there, where you do your job, your training kicks in, you figure out what you need to do. But then when you come home later, some of what you've been through hits you hard.
And when you do not process those memories, that is when they haunt you. And therein lies the power of virtual reality.
You're asking these men to go into the psychological heart of darkness.
It's frightening, but we believe it's worth it.
Here's how it works. When you have PTSD, you are constantly reliving horrible memories. But when those memories reach their peak, the most frightening moment, you cut it off. Virtual reality forces you to fight through the height of your fear so that you see that if you play the memory all the way out, you will survive.
By going through it there, it's not going through my head at night when I'm trying to sleep or when I'm with my wife, when times when I don't want it to come up and me start thinking about it. Traumatic things are not normal. We cannot handle the things that we've seen and done. And this is a tool that has helped me out tremendously.
Reliving the worst moments of his life has helped him to move on with his life.
I'm probably about 80% of who I was before I left, but I think that's pretty good after seeing and doing the things that we've done.
For Nightline, this is Dan Harris in Atlanta.
And the preliminary results from the federal study in which Brian Neal is taking part are promising. Good news, and good luck to him. Thanks to Dan Harris for that report.